Hi, it's Susan. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to my garden. I thought I would take a little walk around the yard while I've got some sunshine out here. We're expecting some rain a little bit later today, and I would show you what's in bloom right now. Not everything, but there are some things blooming, and then I'll try and come back out again next month as more things pop into color. I'm looking at my Ray Hartman Cenote right now. I absolutely love this plant. It's been blooming for the last, probably about 3 weeks. And it is covered with bumblebees and honeybees and lots of other tiny bees and other critters. And I just love this Cenote. I have several of them throughout the yard. My dogwoods, these are red twig dogwoods. They're not blooming yet, but they did leaf out. It didn't take them very long at all. Gosh, I think they were probably only without leaves for a couple months, it seems like. And then just starting here, my clematis, I will probably say a lot of these names wrong. I don't have all the proper ways to pronounce things, but it is still alive. There is a little bit of flower. I think those flowers are left from last year. They just didn't blow off. So that'll be blooming a little bit later. Here I'm standing on the brick patio at one end of the property looking out the full length. And this is the yard that, if you might remember from any of my earlier videos, that when we bought the house 5 years ago, this was filled with a full-size batting cage. There were no plants. There were just a couple of oak trees, and that was it. So let's see. The terraces are looking great. Of course, there's lots of weeding to be done. And I should have gotten out here a little earlier so you could see my ribes malvaceum. These just have these wonderful pendant-type blossoms, and the hummingbirds have been really happy out here with them. I've got some island snapdragon up there, which won't be too long before that will be covered with red blossoms if the bunnies don't eat it all down. They are rather fond of it. So I've got several ribes in here. There is a spice bush, my irises, a lot of carex, another ribes here. This is a Keclia, so it's not blooming yet, but it did get cut way back. Pair of Keclias, so they'll have nice orange blossoms. Going up the fence there is a native pipevine, and I believe down here that's our spice bush. Some heuchera up there. All right, let's see, what else do we have? We have got, sorry, I hope I don't make anybody dizzy, my little red bed. It is leafed out. Some very tiny flowers. Nasturtiums, of course not native, but I do love the nasturtiums. Another one of my Ray Hartman, and a lot of wood chips out there to have to be moved eventually. Penstemons are just starting to come back. We cut them all the way down. Coffeeberry is looking good. Over against the fence there is a bunch of Coast 9 bark, and a ribes Claremont, I believe, is over there. All right, try not to get too dizzy. I will try and walk kind of slowly. Here is another Ray Hartman. I guess this is the biggest Cenote. I thought that one was, but, and a volunteer pine tree, and I'm afraid that pine tree is going to have to come out. Again, I'm sorry for, I don't have a selfie stick or anything. What I love about that Cenote is that I can see it all the way at the top of the deck, so I can watch the bees from up there. Some lavender, not native of course, but my bees love it. My baby oaks that the squirrels planted for me this year are looking pretty good. So we should have a nice little row of oaks coming up there. It's nice to have some hedgy plants. Let's see. Let's do from here. This is St. Halina Manzanita. It is done blooming, but it is filled with berries. So I'm sure the birds are going to be really happy. This area here is just really, everything's doing well. This is a monkey flower that will have yellow blooms on it in a few months. Another coffeeberry. It's another Ray Hartman Cenote. It's only about a year old. I love the Cenote. This particular Cenote I can get at Annie's Annuals in these little 4-inch pots, and then it just takes off like crazy. Another coffee berry, another oak. More pipe vine on that fence line there. Let's see. Lots of oxalis. Time for me to come out and pluck that up because it does do good for drying flowers and dyeing things. That's my deer grass. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to cut my deer grass back or not. Some coyote mint, not blooming yet. Poppies coming up. Looks like the bunnies are going to let my poppies live this year. That's nice. And then that's a rosy buckwheat right there. So again, you know, right now I'm showing it to you without many blooms, but people wondered how it was doing this time of the year, so I thought I would do a little video. This is our fig tree just starting to leaf out, and some scabiosa, not a native flower, but it is a nice plant for pollinators. Okay, spin you around a little bit. I do have a few blooms just starting on this red monkey flower. And my little hugel bed here, got a bladder pod just starting. So happy to see that take off. I'm hoping that it will set more little baby plants that I can put outside the fence line. This hugel bed is filled with hummingbird sage, coyote mint, fuchsia, the bladder pod, some monkey flower, lavender, and rosemary. This is my native desert olive. It just finished leafing out, and I just really love that, but it needs some help with the pruning. I didn't do so good pruning that, so I need to come do some hard cuts. This little bed here, I never really got planted the way I wanted to, so I need to add some stuff to it. Really need to pull out this carex. I want to let this coyote mint go crazy. And then that's a Carpinteria right here. So in a few months that'll have some great flowers on it. Love that it comes back. Lots of yarrow. So this will be a good pollinator paradise in a while. We've got our citrus trees. We do not do any irrigation in this yard. The only irrigation that happens is with our gray water, and that is sent directly to our citrus trees that I'm hoping, these are 4 lemon trees and then 2 orange trees. So I'm hoping this year they'll start producing. And back there we have coyote brush hedges that were put in the ground with, I don't know, they were maybe about 5 or 6 inches tall, just little cuttings that I took off of the mother plant when we moved here from San Jose, and they've got a beautiful hedge giving us some privacy from the neighbors and giving the birds and bunnies places to hide. We've got a native mallow here, and it's very happy. It's another little hugel bed. All right, love the way this is coming together. This is verbena mostly in front, with the occasional monkey flower. The verbena is just starting to bloom. I have had a few butterflies on it. Ooh, I see one now. See if I can get close. It's a black butterfly. I don't really have a very good zoom with the phone, but maybe you can see it. He's black with little white around the edges. Is that a dusty soot? I am not sure. Oh my goodness, he's pretty. He is pretty. Let's see, I wonder if I can zoom. There, and he just took off. All right, let's see what else we have here. There's another view of the Cenote. Isn't that nice? Look at that. Some nice miner's lettuce coming up. I'm really surprised. The bunnies ate so much of the miner's lettuce last year that we just didn't have hardly anything left. I'm going to be quiet a minute and you can hear the bees. Never gets old hearing that. So lavender, while it may not be a native plant, it does do really well along with my native plants here. And of course the bees, we like to keep the bees happy. And the rosemary, same thing. So what do we have here? We've got verbena. This should be covered with purple blooms for, geez, another 6 months. This is an island snapdragon that it looks like the bunnies are finally going to let do something with. They've eaten off a little. I have forgotten the name of this. I'm going to have to dig down at the bottom and find it because it's very happy. Shoot, I think it gets yellow flowers. I don't remember at all what it is. Monkey flower that I had to cut way back. Another one here. We got a few little blooms just starting. Some coyote mint up there, and there's also a lot of yerba buena here and there wherever it's happy. More monkey flower. You can see all these blossoms just ready to come up. We've got buckwheats in there amongst the weeds. Zoe says hi. More buckwheat. These will all be the rosy buckwheat. I'm sorry, no, these aren't the rosy buckwheats. This will be the white buckwheat. Another smaller Cenote here. And more monkey flower. The mountain mahogany that finally is looking, let's see. Yeah, there it is. So it's finally looking good. This is coyote brush mother plant that I brought over from the old house. So it's looking very nice. And we have another mountain mahogany over here that I did dig up from the old house. It wasn't looking so good for a while, but it's looking pretty nice now. Let's look back at the yard from this end. More rosemary, Valencia orange tree. My little blood orange does not look too happy here, so I think we're going to have to dig it up and put it in a pot. Lots of native asters that I wished I hadn't planted, but oh well. This, kind of hard to see right now, but this is our creek bed, and our water from all our downspouts comes, we've got our downspouts up there at the house, and it's buried pipe that brings it down this line and brings it over here to the creek bed, which then has this trench that goes behind the citruses and in front of the coyote brush, and it's about 3 feet deep and about 3 feet wide, and our water just percolates out, and that's the only irrigation we give the yard is from the rainwater. Let's take a look over here. I did not intend to plant this Howard McMinn Manzanita and the Joyce Coulter Cenote so close together, but I think I'm just going to let them do their thing. We'll just see what happens. I'm just so grateful to see anything growing because there was just nothing growing when we bought this place, and the ground was so compacted that it was very difficult to dig in and plant anything. So we've just been adding lots and lots of wood chips. So here in the creek bed there is a lot of carex, some poppies, a few oaks coming up. We're just going to let those keep on going. We've got some native fuchsia, some hummingbird sage, little artemisia here, which doesn't seem to be doing too well. It's been in the ground for a couple years. Maybe it's just been one of those sleepers that's suddenly going to take off. I think I've got, got some dogwoods here. They start looking kind of ratty by the end of summer, but you know what? I don't give them any extra irrigation, and they come up every year. So I figure anything that's putting roots down into the ground is a good thing. It's another mallow, and it's been, as you can see, knocked over with the wind and the rains, but it seems to be happy. So I'm just kind of letting it do its thing for right now. Over here, mostly just asters and carex. So really, I think all of this stuff is going to come out, and we'll be battling the asters for a while, and some yarrow. There is a ribes back there, some fennel. We have swallowtails, so I'm okay with letting the fennel kind of naturalize around here until it gets to be too much. I might regret that. And in here I do have a silk tassel over there just in front of the fuchsia to the left of the coyote brush. It tends to be a sleeper for a few years, so I'm hoping that it'll take off eventually. Let's see, over here I do have a sambucus that is coming back after being accidentally weed whacked to the ground, so I was really happy to see that come back. Lots of weeding to be done along here. Some non-native sage. Cut dogwood stuck in the ground along the whole fence line, and for the most part they are coming along. Over here, a lot of vinca weeds that I'll have to come out. Some of the miner's lettuce, and then shoot, I've forgotten the name of that Cenote. It's a very small flowering one, and I read that it looked good, did well under the drip line of the oaks, so it seems to be pretty happy there. Over here we have another sambucus. It's looking a little bit better. All the logs and leaves or branches and twigs, they're all things that have either been pruned on the property here or have fallen off in storms. So we haven't brought anything in except for wood chips. So it's looking pretty good considering we are in March and we have a lot of weeding to do. We should have a lot of time to do that right now, but really been more in the house than anything else. Here you can get a better look at the trench where our water is. And then there's another little area down there at the fence line, but we haven't really started planting there yet. The log wall needs a lot of weeding. Let's come around this way. And see what else we can see here. I think it's mostly just poppies. Oh, there's a lot of clarkias. Oh, I'm so happy to see the clarkias coming up. So give me another month and we should have some nice flowers there. One of my lizards. We have lots of lizards here. It's wonderful. So that's where we are right now in March 2020. And I will check back in with you next month as more things start to bloom. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Bye for now.